All right, welcome to the podcast. Name is unknown right now. I'm your host, Roger. I currently live in Colorado Springs. Um, with me is my brother, Rodney, who is recently retired, living in Florida, and my brother in law, Mike Fondario, who is living in the great state of Utah, Mormon country. Um, Tonight, we are going to talk about the movie Tenet by Christopher Nolan. I have a lot to say about this. I could probably talk an hour and a half about this movie, but we're not going to go that into depth with it. Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors. It's almost like if a Christopher Nolan movie comes out, I'm going to watch it in IMAX, like at the theater. It doesn't matter unless it's a pandemic. So I didn't get to watch it in IMAX. I'm kind of disappointed. But what are your initial thoughts about it, Rodney?
Well, I mean, like you said, Christopher Nolan is one of the premier directors working right now, and him with Tarantino, with Spielberg, Nolan. He's become one of those directors that hey, his name's on the movie. A lot of movie buffs say, hey, I got to see this, and like you said, he makes movies for the big screen, and he loves the cinematic feel of a movie. His cinematic techniques are off the charts, amazing. He's one of those directors that I get excited about too. This one though is was Dunkirk, and this one this has more of a international spy kind of heist feel to it. It even has a crazy James Bond villain that kind of wants to end the world or take over the world or anything, something like that. But I mean, Nolan is definitely the star of this movie. He has his footprint all over the script and all over the themes of this movie. And he has such a fascination with time travel and parallel universes and stuff like that. If you're really into that, you'll definitely be a big Christopher Nolan fan, especially with like Interstellar, his first movie Memento. So he dabbles a lot in that obsession about time. So
He does.
want me to go into it or just gloss
just
over it? Or
initial reaction first.
initial reaction is it is an extremely dense movie. I gotta first say that it has layers upon layers of layers and layers, and I did only watch it once. But initial impression is, if you like time travel and you like thinking about movies and you like pointing out different elements of a movie and going back and kind of analyzing a movie while you're watching it, you would definitely like this movie. Those are my initial thoughts. I thought it was good.
All right. What about you, Mike?
I think if I definitely liked the movie, but I don't think it was some of the things I was expecting, like an Interstellar type experience where it's a very complicated movie, but it did in my opinion, a more interesting job of making the whole time travel thing like accessible to you. Like I'm sort of, there's a way I could get the time travel thing or what he's trying to do. But I definitely like the movie, and I definitely have to watch it a couple more times because it is one of those things where, and just like Interstellar, like it's, by the time you're done, there's so much that you've forgotten that happened.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to keep pace. It's hard to absorb it all.
Yeah, and I'll admit, the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't even sure I know what just happened. Like the best way I could explain it initially, and this is what I told Sarah, is I didn't exactly follow or understand the flow of the movie, but the best way I could describe it was that two movies were being played at the same time, and one of them was being played from the end of the movie, and one of them was being played at the beginning of the movie, and they're literally at the same time. So when I got to the middle, you kind of, and I didn't even realize I was explaining the temporal pincer that they explain at the end of the movie, of how the last 10 minutes where they go and get the algorithm, like one of them's going in 10 minutes later, one of them's going 10 minutes sooner, and they meet in the middle of that 5 minutes, and it kind of, they're crossing paths timeline wise. So like usually in like time travel movies, someone leaves a point in time and starts at like the beginning, and then they get to run through it again. But the time travel in this is they literally just start moving backwards in time. They don't actually jump time, they just move backwards through time. Does that make sense? Because when
Yeah.
when they were going through those doors, they didn't jump to 15 minutes back in time. They literally just started traveling backwards in time. So I thought that was an interesting take on the whole time travel, if you want to call it that aspect of it.
Yeah, one of the things I read about it that helped you understand what was going on. So if someone goes through the turnstile, everything is backwards. You don't get to fire a gun. You get to catch the bullet.
Yeah.
And so that was like, oh, I mean, it's helpful, but it's not like, oh, now I get it. I sort of get it. It's more helpful.
And on the second rewatch, like it all made sense to me. Like it's crazy because the fight scene where the protagonist is fighting himself when they're going to the airport scene, like when you watch it on the first half of the movie, the current time protagonist looks like he's fighting in real time, but the other guy looks weird. It's because it's like reversed. And then when you see it from the back end, it's the opposite. So the guy who's going back through time looks fine time wise, and the other guy looks like in reverse. So I have no idea how they did that. Like it's just incredible to have like to be able to pull off a fight where one guy is in reverse time both ways. So I thought that was really awesome seeing it the second time around.
Yeah, they talk about a lot of inversion where the objects go in reverse time. Some people go on reverse time and they kind of meld in together into one scene and stuff. So there's a lot of things going on as far as just, going backwards through time and stuff like that. But I do like the look of the movie. I think they use a lot of practical effects instead of like, I know there's CGI in it, but it just looks like there's a lot more just practical effects. So I like that aspect of it. I do like the soundtrack a lot.
Oh man, the score is
Score is
phenomenal, man.
the only thing. Sometimes he loves immersing you in these movies that sometimes the sound effects and the score cover up the dialogue a little bit. Sometimes I had trouble hearing the dialogue a little bit in some scenes.
Yeah, I think that's done on purpose, like because if they're in reverse time, they're actually saying stuff backwards.
Yeah, I was actually going to introduce myself in reverse speak so you couldn't understand me just to start this off. But anyway,
dude, I tell you what, if you're a deaf guy like me, man, that is not cool because like 90% of the movies you're watching, it's like, why are they whispering? I can't hear them, and so I got to put on the freaking closed captions to keep up with the movie. And now they're intentionally doing it to me.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying, but it's all intentional, which is crazy.
But this new composer that worked on the film, his name is Ludwig Göransson. I looked him up. He did the score to The Mandalorian and Black Panther. I think this young kid's he's from Europe, so the score has a lot of metallic techno, kind of like industrial feel to it. I think he's gonna do some good things in the future. But like I said, I do like the movie. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna watch this again, to be truthful though. I mean, 2 hours and 30 minutes. I had to turn the subtitles on so I could try to understand a little bit of the plot. It is extremely dense, and I mean, there's a fine line where is it a chore to watch this movie because your brain is always thinking. One little close up of something, does that mean something? Is that a clue to something? So your brain is always actively trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
That could be cool in some ways if it's intertwined through the story and you're invested in characters. One of the things I really didn't like about this movie is I didn't see too much character development like I did with like Interstellar, where Murph and Cooper had kind of that father-daughter connection. I kind of felt that.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I'm getting a little bit more sentimental. So I like a little bit more character development. Sometimes these movies could feel a little cold and sterile in that aspect of it, but technically they're so sound and they're so cool to look at, and they're just so cool looking. Like these guys look like they're straight out of a GQ magazine fighting in three-piece suits that are tailored perfectly. Like if I wore a tailored three-piece suit, I can't even make a cup of coffee without spilling it. Like these guys are just like kicking ass. I mean, they look great.
He got called out for wearing that cheap suit at the beginning, though.
But I mean, but they look just spectacular doing all these things. And I mean, that's part of the movie making, process. But one of the things that I really didn't like about it is just, like I said, just the character development kind of left me a little bit cold. If you have to watch a movie 2 to 3 times to figure out what the hell is going on, that's a fine line. Like, wow, I mean, is that really what people want to see? But again, I like Nolan's earlier films like The Prestige or
what about
Insomnia? Inception, I like the DiCaprio character because he had a connection to his wife that died, I think. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Well,
but you kind of felt for his character a little bit. But with Dunkirk and this one, I think these last 2 movies, I think the character development has kind of taken a back seat a little bit. So I don't want to, going forward, I don't want him to start making movies just for him, where he kind of alienates a little bit of the audience as far as getting to more traditional characters and storylines. Like a little bit more character development, in my opinion, might go a long way. But again, you can't fault him for making some original ideas, man. With the world is like, with so many sequels out right now, so many remakes. A lot of people say originality in Hollywood is just not there anymore. You got to give him credit for baking up these ideas that keep you interested in the story, even though you don't know 100% what the hell is going on sometimes. So,
well,
that's kind of my take.
I kind of agree with that, but my like first 20-minute impression was because I didn't know anything about the movie. I just heard people were watching it, and so that's all I knew, is that it's something I should probably watch. And if you're not really paying attention, it feels just like an action movie trying to be clever, trying to be a little bit clever. And so, but that's not what Interstellar or Inception was.
Yeah.
So you don't want to watch an action movie again. Like, they're not that fun to watch again. But you would, all those other ones, you'd watch Inception again, you watch Interstellar again.
Yeah.
So there's something else there. It's got a little bit more to it.
I mean, I totally get what you're saying. A lot of people didn't like this movie, and I was very not hesitant to watch it, but I wasn't super pumped like I normally am for a Christopher Nolan movie. But once that opening opera scene where it's like I have no idea what's going on, the music starts, like just the beginning where like the orchestra is like making just that noise, and it's like, holy shit, this is just going to be an awesome movie. Like, it is like, to me, it's not really a movie. It's more of like an experience, and it's so complex that you have to watch it a second time. It's worth it. And I literally watched it twice in like 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's like it's a feel of these movies, and like, you got to go along with the ride at first. If you've checked out in the first 10 minutes, you're not going to really enjoy this movie. I was watching some of the actor interviews after they made this movie, and half the time, like, I'm not sure exactly what the what the plot was about with their interviews. Like Robert Patterson, is that his name? One of the
Pattinson.
actors. Yeah.
yeah,
So they're
Pattinson.
asking him, and he's like, he wasn't even sure if his character's alive or dead in the movie. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but he really didn't know. Like Nolan didn't tell him if his character was like
Well,
alive or dead through the
so
movie.
he
So
he dies at the end.
yeah. So he like Nolan kind of kept him in the dark, and they really, if the actors really don't even know what the plot is, like it is that's just telling you it is a very complex movie. And I just don't want Nolan to get tied up in this Pandora's box of change, or he could change the rules anytime he wants when you're trying to follow a movie, like like the game of chess, very complex to master, but you know the rules. Imagine playing chess, and then all of a sudden, you know what, the king could go this way, that way, the rules change, so that could kind of break the enjoyment of a movie. So and a lot of these scenes were setting up the next scene where they would talk about it, and then they would set the scene up. So a lot of it was like that, I noticed. But I just, that's one of the problems I have with the movie. It could be tech, tech speak for the sake of sounding cool and tech speak, without really, getting to a main storyline. So
Yeah, I mean, I totally get the reasons why you're, you don't love it. The character development is very vague, but it's intentionally vague because, even when they ask each other questions, it's like secrecy is the best, operating procedure. I don't know exactly what they say. Um, but yeah, it is super vague. There's definitely more questions that you want to ask at the end of the movie than you have answers. So um, I totally get it. Um, I do
Who
think
who wrote this movie?
he
Christopher
did.
Nolan.
He did.
He did.
You could tell
Yeah,
he wrote this movie. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna write something so fucked up that people are gonna have to watch this 5 times. Like that could be like,
dude. Even every time I watch Inception, like it blows me away like how he came up with that idea.
yeah. Like
And
I said, he's
it's
imagined. Like no director's really doing anything like he's. That's why he's so successful, because even though we don't truly maybe understand the details of his movies, he keeps you invested with his storytelling techniques. He's cinema, like he just knows how to make a good looking movie and keep you
dude.
interested.
He made Robert Pattinson cool as hell. He's one of
Well,
the
I mean,
coolest characters.
he's been getting a lot of credit. He's been in a lot of indie movies that are getting a lot of
And he's
a lot
cool
of
looking,
hype.
man.
So I
I
think he's getting up there.
He is,
But
but at the same time, it's like I did not think about Twilight once. I was like, this dude is cool as shit. I can't
yeah, but
believe he's
he's done The
Batman.
Lighthouse. He's done Good Time. He's done some independent movies that are really good.
Yeah, which I
Um,
which I haven't seen. So,
yeah.
when I think
You
of him,
know
I'm
what?
like Twilight.
Yeah. So we don't even have the name for the protagonist, Denzel
Yeah.
Washington's son. He did okay. I kind of warmed up to him as the movie went on,
Hold
but
on,
he was
that's
just,
Denzel Washington's
What?
son?
Yeah. Whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa.
Come on,
Oh
man, get
yeah,
with the
John
guys.
David
Come on,
Washington.
man.
Holy hell.
That's
Dude,
Denzel's son.
I am
Yeah.
not good at this stuff. Look at Ronnie. Denzel Washington's son.
dude, and I was gonna say, man, I love him, man. Like I want to see every movie that this guy is in, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a lot. Yeah. So I mean, he's going to be a good actor, but I guess the director wanted him to be more of a just like a straight face kind of protagonist with.
Dude,
I mean,
man,
like I
this is
said, he
not
doesn't even
even
have a
fair.
name.
He's such a cool. yeah, this is not even fair. Look at, I mean, this guy's like super cool. His dad's this great actor. Now he's going to be this great actor.
Dude, there's this line. There's a line in the movie where he meets the girl at the restaurant, and then like her husband's henchmen come to like kick his ass, and he goes into the kitchen. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Well, he goes into the kitchen and he sees all these guys about to kick his ass, and the line he says is, "I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago."
Yeah.
And then he starts to like kick their ass. It's like, man, this dude is so cool, man.
Yeah. I think him and Robert they could be they have a chemistry, but I wish Nolan would have explored that more a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think they have a good chemistry, them two.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, overall, I thought it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, but it definitely is a Christopher Nolan movie. Where
Exactly. Yeah.
it's like, oh, I've never seen this movie. Should we watch it? I'd be like, hell yeah, we should watch it. Like, it's phenomenal. But
So
All right.
did Sarah watch it with you, Roger?
yeah, she did. I mean, she liked it. She, of course, had questions, but dude, I watched like 3 or 4 YouTube videos explaining certain aspects of the movie, and it's like, man, if you gotta watch like a 20-minute YouTube video about the ending of the movie, it wasn't done, as good as it could be because I'm watching a 20-minute video on how it ended. But that doesn't really bother me as much. Like, my favorite movie of all time is Planet Terror. Like, the character development in that is, paper thin. It's just a fun action popcorn summer movie, as opposed to this where it's like, the score, the acting, just everything about it just amazes me. Like, every frame about it is just fun to me, and I'm okay with it confusing the shit out of me. I'm okay with it not really making that much sense to me. So I don't know. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it seems like you really enjoyed it, man. So I didn't enjoy it as much as you did. I mean, but just because it was just a lot to take in, and I got to analyze it. I don't know if this movie's gonna age well with me or not. I just got to let it sink in. Like I said, I just watched it once. But yeah, I mean, some of the set pieces are awesome. Acting's pretty good. But yeah, man. Out of 1 to 10, I would probably give it I'd give it a 7.5.
That's a favorable score. What about you, Mike?
Well, since you gave it a thumbs up and Rodney gave it a 1 out of 10.
Yeah,
I
we
feel
gotta
like I
we gotta
should go
straighten out our
5
scoring
star.
system, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5-star, like a 5-star rating system here. So out of 5 stars, or I could go Rotten Tomatoes and percentage. I could go at percentages. I like 5-star better. I think if I was given this an Amazon rating and I only had 5 stars, and I could go in point, I think I would give it a 4.0, 3.8 to 4.0, somewhere in there.
All right, that's pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, I do really like complicated movies. And I do actually like movies that I have to, if I have to go watch a video on a movie, no. If I want to go watch a video on a movie to explain it, I think I've liked the movie. I don't really want to go figure out anything else about this movie. I mean, like I really enjoyed it. When it was done, I was like, oh, I like that. And I like the actors, and apparently I like Denzel Washington's son. I thought he did a really good job. But I'm just not, it wasn't good enough for me to go explore any further or have some, but I probably would watch it again.
Yeah. And I think I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it more on the second watch. because I noticed a lot more things where it's like, oh, nice. Like, so
I do
the
got to
whole-
say one thing, since I'm a watch nerd. So Christopher Nolan's so in love with time. So he teamed up with the Hamilton Watch Company, and they make watches for his movies. So they first did this with Interstellar. So they made the Cooper watch, the Murph watch, that are beautiful watches that you could buy. And they also did it with this movie. So the Tenet watch is pretty badass too. It's like an all black PVD watch, but it's pretty expensive. It's like $1,000. So the watch nerd in me, I love it when he ties watches in because he loves time, like I said. And I think I might actually get that Interstellar watch that Cooper wears as a retirement gift. That is a badass watch, dude.
Okay, wait.
Shit.
I'm looking this up. Are you talking about the Murph Auto?
Not the Murph. The Murph. Do the Cooper Interstellar watch by Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'm on
badass.
Hamilton.
The coupe is elegant too. I like it too. It's more of a dress watch though. So nerd watch in me. I love that aspect of Nolan where he kind of brings watches in these movies. So
what's it called again?
it's called. It's by Hamilton. It's called the Interstellar. It's officially called a Hamilton pilot watch.
Pilot day date.
Yeah, but it's
Khaki Aviation.
yeah, but if you Google the Interstellar watch, it'll
Featured in Interstellar, worn by Cooper.
Yeah,
This is it.
it's a
This
it's
is
a nice looking watch, huh?
That is a good looking watch.
And the Cooper is a whole different style. So
Share your screen, Mike.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, this is a cool watch. I can't. You can.
it's a
share.
pilot style watch because obviously he's a pilot. So
Can you try it now? It says all participants. Oh, there you
There
go.
we go.
there, look at that.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty nice.
That's badass, dude. Little hefty on the price tag, but it is an automatic. It is a Hamilton, which is a great brand. So, but
And so wait, so Hamilton makes all of his watches?
Hamilton, he's got a contract with Hamilton where Hamilton will make a watch for his movies. And so he's did it with a couple of these movies, especially if it deals with time. So
What other wait, let's do. So this was
so
this was
that's the
Interstellar.
Cooper. And then there's a Murph watch, and I'm not sure if there's an Inception watch or not. They might be. Maybe not.
Try the look up the
The Tenet watch is badass. It's black, but it's really big.
Inception watch. Let's do Inception.
I don't know if Inception has a watch, to be honest with you.
Oh, here's an article on his
Yeah, he's a watch guy, so that's the Tenet watch, dude.
Oh, that's dope. It's got the red
Yeah.
and blue.
That is cool.
So the red's supposed to like be forward in time, and the blue is backward in time. So there's red and blue throughout the movie.
Let's see if there's other pictures here. This is those are Interstellar watches apparently.
Oh, I like that case. It looked like the
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, so
You are a watch guy, Rodney. You should own one of those.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. $1,000, man. You got that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. It's really it's a little big though. It's like 42 millimeters, which is
Dude,
it runs kind of big on a 6.5-inch wrist.
This is 44.
Mine's pretty big too.
Yeah,
Yours
so
is bigger
I'm
than-
trying to get away from bigger watches just because they just wear cumbersome for me, and I like. Yeah, I mean that.
See,
but you got
that's
a big-
44.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
your wrist is a lot bigger.
Well, I'm gonna have a pretty little wrist, and I got a pretty big watch.
Yeah, you got some good looking wrists.
So it's been half an hour. Are we ready to end it, or
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
it's up to you guys, man. I mean,
Did you guys look at the NFL schedule for Raiders
I glanced
games?
at it. I heard that game where Brady goes back to Foxborough is like selling out quick, and the tickets are like crazy.
Oh, last I heard, they were like 1,500 was the cheapest.
Yeah. But that first game of the season is going to be a firecracker with Dallas and Tampa Bay, man.
Yeah, Dallas is garbage.
I don't know. Brett Prescott, they gave him so much money. Like he's the third like highest paid athlete in the world, I think, or fourth. I think I read that somewhere. Something
Maybe in
crazy
the
like that, dude.
NFL, not the world. Soccer players
Seriously,
get
like the world. I think the world, dude. Like Brady's ninth. Like number one is Conor McGregor. Number two is Messi and the other soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think Prescott's like fourth, unless I read it wrong. It's freaking crazy. Something crazy like that, dude.
didn't Mahomes sign like a 10-year deal?
What's that?
Mahomes signed like a 10-year deal.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's per
it's
year.
per year, I think. Yeah. Unless I read it wrong, man. I could be wrong on that. But
Could be.
yeah, anyways, yeah, man. I need to glance at that schedule, man.
Hey, oh, by the way, speaking of sports, I think I'm going to a Red Sox game. Like
Really?
3 weeks, yeah. I'm
Nice.
pumped. We bought yesterday, Anna and I have been like debating whether, because everybody wants to go on vacation and we're dying to go on a vacation. So this is our kind of summer family vacation. We're going to Boston for like 4 days.
Dude, I'm happy for you, man. You and Anna really love Boston. I think that's really kind of carved a part in your life, and it shows like how Boston affected you too. So that's awesome, dude, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excited.
Cool.
You
Of course.
taking the kids?
Yeah. What's funny is though, they're playing the Blue Jays, which isn't that exciting. Well, it's not exciting at all.
The experience of Fenway, that's the important part.
Dude, yeah, I'm excited for the kids to see Fenway. Like, I mean, this will sound weird, but I really hope there's at least a few fights that break out. I want to see somebody, I want to see those plastic beer bottles get thrown around a little bit, because, Boston, if it gets too, like yuppie, it kind of ruins it all. There's got to be a small little sliver of fear that goes along with your
That's
presence
funny,
there.
man. Hey, Mike. So I think Toronto's in the AL East, and
Just checking if this is live.
I'm pretty sure they're in the same division as the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're in first or second place in the division.
Well,
it could be,
yeah, but the point is, it could be a good game, but
It's a
I just don't
division
think my
game.
kids will know what a good game is if they saw it, right?
Well, they're
Especially
going to be
both
there
of them.
just to eat the junk food and just the atmosphere and stuff. So,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
could be the start.
The biggest thing, though, if only one thing's happened, if there's no Yankee sucks chant, it's a huge letdown. Because I've been talking about that forever. I've been to probably 6, maybe 7 Red Sox games in Fenway, and every game, and I never went to a Yankees game. Every game they chanted "Yankee sucks" multiple times. And
So you're going to look bad
so,
if they don't do it, Mike.
well,
in
it
front of your
is.
kids,
It's going to
man.
be lame, but back when I was going to those games, they were still the underdogs. They were still the red-headed stepchild. And since then, now they're a powerhouse, right? Now they're might be the most successful baseball team in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but at least the second or third
Up
one.
there,
Certainly better than the Yankees. So they're not the red-headed stepchild anymore. They're sort of, they're supposed to be pretty good. It was
Yeah.
funner when they were the red-headed stepchild, I think.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
So what do you guys think of basketball? You guys into basketball at all? I know
Dude, not at
basketball has
all.
been kind of a weird topic lately, but are you guys watching any basketball? Are you interested at all in the playoffs with basketball, or?
I mean, I really stopped watching the Jazz and caring about the Jazz a while ago. It's been several years, and I lost interest because it was just like, I just wasn't entertained by him anymore. And it was just this stupid, like, oh, we're going to be good again. And they were always doing this half-hearted, like, we're convincing the public that we're going to do something that it's interesting this year. And it never was. And so I was like, I got better things to do with my time than to watch another basketball game. And,
Dude, the
and then I
Jazz
spent
are-
then I spent 2 or 3 years having a really good time making fun of my nephews for being Jazz fans. That wore off.
Dude,
I don't get
they're
a
like
good
the
time
number.
from that anymore.
They're like the number 1 seed in the West right
Oh,
now.
dude. I actually think, and I'm not paying attention, I'm sort of paying attention, but if this might be the best year they've ever had to win it, like literally ever.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And the reason I say that is because nobody wants to hear this, but the Jazz, my dad tells me all this, the Jazz, you know how, remember the Splash Brothers and all that amazing stuff those guys did? And dude, the Jazz have broken all those records for 3-point percentage, number of 3-point shots made. Like, they've blown all those records out of the water. And like, even Joe Ingles and some of these white boys on their team have broken some of Steph Curry's old 3-point records.
Wow.
I mean, and because they're the Jazz and they're from Utah, no one cares, which why would they? No one cares about Utah, nor should they. But
Well, I mean,
know-
they still might face the Lakers in the first round and get beat.
Well,
so.
that's very true. But you know what? The Jazz are like, they're not a fluke. Like, they're tough. And if I was the Lakers, even with LeBron coming back, LeBron being sort of half-assed, the Lakers don't look that great. And they haven't been playing together. And I'd be scared if I was the Lakers.
Yeah, but the thing with those super teams, Mike, they turn it on in the playoffs. Like, regular season.
I hear you. I hear you. Like, if I'm betting a month's pay, I don't think I'm betting on the Jazz. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Depends on who's playing.
Yeah. The regular season, they're like, whatever, man, you know.
Yeah,
But
once playout time comes, man, I would rather face the 1 seed Jazz than the 8th seed Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Well, I mean, legitimately, I think that would be the only team that I would say that I would be really scared of. The rest of them, I would say that the Jazz are slight favorites.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like the most unfortunate year for them because they're in first place and the Lakers are probably going to get the 8th seed.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, you never know.
I mean, the Jazz were up 3-1 against Denver last year and they lost game 7.
Who's number 1 in the East, Raj?
I think it's the Sixers.
Well, the other thing is, speaking of powerhouses and power teams that turn on the playoffs, there's no reason Brooklyn can't do that.
Yeah, they got enough. They got all the talent in the world, dude. Do they have the chemistry? We'll see. But they have talent galore. We'll see, man.
But the reason I say this might be the closest they've ever had is because there's a lot of doubts. Like, the teams that could easily beat them, there's a lot of question marks there. It's not like they're surging into the playoffs. Like, they're dragging their sorry asses across the finish line to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If the Jazz win the whole thing, I wouldn't be surprised because they're a great team basketball. Play great team basketball. They're great at defense. They have the defensive player of the year again, probably in Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if they lost to the Lakers in the first round, which is
there
just
is a part of me that wants to see that happen.
Dude, I would love if that happened.
Because I mean, you know how much, like, I would just giggle if they lost in the first round and everybody around me is just crushed. And I get to tease them again. Like, it'll come streaming back. It'll just flood back in. And I get to tease them for being Jazz fans. It could be great. But if they win, that'd be cool, but it wouldn't be great.
Yeah. I'm excited about the play-in tournament. Do you guys know about that?
Is that tomorrow?
Is it? I don't know. I thought it starts on Tuesday.
It might. I'm not.
So the 7 through 10 seeds are basically play for the last 2 seeds, which.
Oh yeah, they started that this year, right?
Yeah. So in the West, it's like Golden State, Lakers. I don't know the 2 other teams. So that could be a little interesting. I know Charlotte has.
Sorry, Rajko. I was going to say, didn't they just like barely come up with that?
Well, I don't know when exactly they came up with it, but Bill Simmons, who I used to follow a long time ago, who used to write for ESPN, then he started his own thing, but he loves basketball. um he like his idea, because the eighth seed never does anything in the NBA. So his idea was uh, all the teams who aren't in, the 1 through 7 seeds all do like a mini basketball tournament, kind of like the NCAA tournament. Um, he's like, dude, that would be awesome. Like, why not do this? And I read this article like 10 years ago, and now they're doing it. So I'm kind of excited to see how that pans out. I mean, are they going to do anything? See, and then that makes a big thing is like the Lakers with LeBron and AD are probably going to be the eighth seed, like, and they could probably win it all. So I don't know. It's a interesting twist in what is usually a really boring 1 versus 8 matchup in the NBA playoffs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See how it works.
Yeah.
The other reason I want I would love the Lakers to beat the Jazz, because Jazz fans hate the Lakers because the Lakers always beat them. And there's so many people who think LeBron is just some raving liberal that just needs to go down. And I would love it if he comes back and just dunks on the Jazz for freaking 3 games and sweeps them, and it's LeBron, and he's like, he's in the Jazz arena just pounding his chest on the scoreboard thing in the front after the final win. Oh my gosh, my parents' heads would explode. They would just explode.
Yeah.
And it would just be hilarious. I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Cool.
But all right, so topics for next week. What are you guys thinking?
We could talk about gambling, sports betting.
Like go through an NFL schedule?
Yeah. We could, what we could do? Our subject could be, because NFL futures, we could actually look at the NFL futures and we could go through them and talk about, what a couple average guys, if we had, and we set the bar as we got $1,000. How we spending our $1,000 betting on NFL futures?
I mean, I think I would enjoy that. I've never done it. I like looking at future game, especially right now. I mean, you look at the upcoming schedule. I think I could talk about it for a long time.
Well, I think we could do that. My specific topic would be, though, we actually look at what Vegas has projected for NFL futures. And all that is who's going to, the odds to win the Super Bowl, or odds to win the NFC or AFC championship.
Or
and
like,
then we talk about like who we want to actually bet on to do those things before the season even starts.
And like,
and then we could talk about the schedule later, but just talk about what bet looks fun, what bet, like who's the underdog, or who's, that type of thing.
Kind of like over under wins and stuff like that for the season.
Let's do all week 1 games in depth. Like every game in week 1, we'll do over under and how much we bet on each game and go from there. How about that?
Dude, yeah. We could do a gambling podcast.
I think we should do that like during the season, but I think what Mike's talking about, I think what Mike's talking about is a little different.
Because now's a good time to talk about NFL futures.
Okay.
Yeah. So send us the links to where we can look at that type of stuff.
This is my favorite place because it's you can't place bets here, which I don't care, because I don't here, let me give you a link.
Yeah, that'd be a fun topic.
Vegas Insider is my favorite gambling website, just to look up odds because it shows where all the casinos are at and the line movements and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool. We'll do that on our next podcast. That'll be a fun one to talk about.
Okay. All right. Very
All
cool.
right. All right. Well, it was fun chatting with you guys, and
Yeah.
we'll see you guys again next week.
All right.
Peace
Take
out.
care. See you
Take it
next
easy.
time.
All right, guys.